What inspires me about architecture is just the physicality of it, just the way light plays on things, the sound in a room, the way materials go together.
I like architects who understand the balance between personal integrity and creativity and the need to address larger social issues.
I'm very interested in what it is that how things take on meaning and how that meaning might change over time, et cetera. It's a bit of an academic orientation to the question, but I also really just enjoy making things and watching things become meaningful.
After I got out of architecture school, I went to work for one of my professors, James Stoggeberg, and I was there for about 7 years. And towards the end of that, Jeff had moved here, Jeff Scher had moved here from England.
Both were getting ready to take the architectural exam together at the same year, and we just kind of became friends working together. At the same time, I got offered an adjunct teaching position at the University of Minnesota, and I met Garth.
Jeff and I got along quite well. We're quite different, but we were very complementary. We went to lectures together, we went to events, we taught in the same institution, so we got to hear each other speak on reviews. It was Jeff's idea that he might want to introduce me to Tom Meyer, who he admired a great deal, having practiced together in a firm, Hodney Stoggeberg.
Well, after we were introduced to each other, I sort of acted as the go-between because I knew Garth independent of Tom and Tom independent of Garth. I suggested that we go for a fishing trip. And Garth owned a little island up in North Minnesota.
We went out there camping. So we canoed out to the island, and it was terrible weather, but we spent a lot of time in the tent talking about what it might be like to practice together.
Talking about architecture, talking about our work, our lives, etc., philosophy, just discussing our worldviews. I think in that conversation, something started to happen, the sort of an alchemy of that conversation. And I can't remember who proposed it, but I think maybe I instigated it by saying, well, I'm thinking of leaving Hodney Stoggeberg, set up on my own. I don't think Tom needed any help at the time, but he suggested that it would be kind of fun to have someone around.
It took a year or year and a half of just kind of casual discussions before we became more serious about it.
We approached the whole question of coming together with probably a proper amount of skepticism. Because the three of us were quite different, we explored the idea of a sort of a loose federation to see how we might work together.
So in the early summer of 1981, pulled all of our thoughts together. We rented some space. The official start of the company was September 1st, and we started looking for proposals. That was all pre-internet days. It was all advertisement. We didn't have a secretary. We found out quickly that our connections to the community need to be strengthened, so we started broadening our influence by getting on boards, getting connected to artists, to writers, to individuals, young people who were getting involved in the development business. And we made some early decisions on the kinds of work we would and wouldn't go after.
Our challenges starting out as a young firm are the ones that I think are still with us today and are, in fact, also our strength. And that is that the three of us do see architecture and the world in quite different ways, and yet we have a terrific amount of respect for each other.